He said I was old and dead to him. Those words echoed in my head like a curse. I had spent 20 years building a life with Mark. We met when I was 25. He was charming, ambitious, and told me I made him believe in love again. Back then he was just starting his construction business and I was a real estate agent helping him find clients. Together we built everything from the ground up. We worked side by side, built homes, sold them, reinvested every penny, and by the time we turned 45 we had $1 million house sitting on the top of the hill overlooking the lake. It was supposed to be our dream home, our forever place. But dreams have a way of turning into nightmares when you love the wrong person. It started slowly. Mark became distant. He stopped eating dinner with me. He started traveling more for business. When I asked, he said I was becoming too controlling. I believed him. I told myself it was stress. But one night when he came home at 2 a.m. and I smelled perfume that was not mine, I knew the truth. There was someone else. I tried to confront him. He didn't deny it. He looked me in the eyes and said, "You should have seen this coming. You are old now. You are dead to me." Those words broke something inside me. I was 52. I had wrinkles around my eyes and gray in my hair. But I was not dead. I was still the woman who helped him become what he was. I gave up my career to manage his company finances and design his projects. The business was under his name, but I was the one who built its heart. Still, he threw me away like a used tool. The next morning I packed my things and left the house. But I didn't cry. Not that night. Not ever again. I rented a small apartment downtown and quietly started to plan. Revenge doesn't always come with fire and rage. Sometimes it comes quietly with patience and precision. I knew everything about Mark's business. I knew every deal, every property, and most importantly every secret. He had hidden money from taxes and I had proof. But I didn't want his money. I wanted something that would hurt more. His pride. His symbol of success. That $1 million home on the hill. Mark had built that house with his own hands. It was his masterpiece. Every corner was designed to show off his taste and power. I helped design the landscape plan. I knew the irrigation layout, the water systems, the underground wiring, everything. I still had the original blueprints saved on my drive. The house stood on a strong foundation, but it sat above an old drainage system we had built years ago and covered with soil. I knew how to reach it and what could happen if it got flooded intentionally. I began visiting the house when he was away. He had moved his new girlfriend in, a 26-year-old interior designer named Lila. She posted pictures on social media showing off their new home. My blood boiled every time I saw those posts, but I didn't let emotion control me. I wanted this done perfectly. I worked as a consultant for one of Mark's suppliers, so I had access to equipment. One night I borrowed a small excavator and went up the hill. I still had a key to the side gate. It was raining and the thunder drowned out every sound. I found the drainage pipe under the side garden and began digging. For 3 nights I worked in secret. I modified the pipe so that water from the hill would flow directly under the foundation instead of away from it. I sealed it all back like nothing happened. The next few weeks it rained non-stop. The soil loosened and the foundation began to weaken. Cracks appeared in the basement walls. Lila posted a picture complaining about it. I smiled. One evening I got a call from Mark. His voice was filled with panic. He asked if I knew anything about drainage damage near the property. I said I had no idea. He cursed and hung up. 2 days later heavy rain hit the town again. That night the ground gave way. The backyard collapsed, first swallowing the patio then the pool. Within an hour half the house sank into the mud. By morning the mansion was gone. The news channels reported it as a natural landslide caused by faulty construction. I watched the footage from my apartment. I saw Mark standing in the rain staring at the ruins. Lila was crying beside him. The reporters said the property was uninsured for that type of damage. The company that Mark owned was now under investigation for negligence. His reputation was ruined. Clients pulled out. Investors backed away. Within a month he declared bankruptcy. I should have felt satisfied. And for a moment I did. I imagined him looking at the empty hill and realizing everything he ever loved was gone. But I wasn't done. Mark had hidden assets in fake accounts using his company name. I knew all the details. I sent the evidence anonymously to the authorities. They found out he had been evading taxes for years. They froze his accounts. The man who once told me I was dead to him was now broke, homeless, and begging for help. A few months later he came to see me. He looked older, thinner, and defeated. He said he had nowhere to go. He asked if I could forgive him. For a second I saw the man I once loved. But then I remembered those words. "You are old and dead to me." I told him maybe now he could understand what death really feels like, when someone takes everything you built and buries it. He begged me for a second chance, but I turned away. After he left, I stood by the window and watched the rain start again. The same kind of rain that had swallowed our home. It didn't bring me joy or guilt. Just peace. Sometimes revenge doesn't give you back what you lost. It only makes you realize how strong you had to become to take it. Months passed. I started working again full-time. I invested in small properties and began flipping houses. It wasn't about money anymore. It was about rebuilding my own foundation, this time on my terms. People in town whispered about what happened to Mark's mansion, but no one ever suspected me. They said nature took its course. Maybe it did. Maybe I just helped nature a little. I drove up the hill one evening just to see the place again. The land was quiet. Grass had begun to grow over the buried ruins. Only a few broken tiles and pieces of marble stuck out of the soil. I walked to the edge and touched the ground. Beneath it lay the remains of everything we once called love. I whispered goodbye, not to Mark but to the woman I used to be. The one who believed in him, the one who thought loyalty was enough. In the end he was right about one thing. The old me was dead. But what he never understood was that sometimes when something dies it gives birth to something stronger. I buried the past just like I buried that house. And from that ground I built something new, something real, something mine. Years later people still talk about the house on the hill that disappeared one stormy night. Some say it was cursed. Others say it was karma. I don't argue. Let them believe whatever they want. I know the truth. It wasn't karma. It wasn't an accident. It was me. And I would do it again if I had to. Because sometimes the only way to rise again is to bury what once destroyed you. That night I poured myself a glass of wine, sat on my balcony and watched the city lights shimmer in the distance. The rain had stopped and the air smelled fresh. Somewhere down below in the darkness was a man who had once thought he could break me. But I was still here. Alive, strong, and finally free.